Well,
the first thing we got to do with that Patreon, man, we got to get that Google fiber up there to Massachusetts.
Yeah, route it up to directly to Willow's residence. Plug it the fuck in.
Get me
just the one person that gets it.
Just me, not even my roommate.
Nope.
No, you're not on the
Absolutely
show. Sorry, you're not a host.
Sorry, amazing.
Well, I guess on the flip side of that, I got to say, like, our podcast is not huge. I think we do okay, but I was realizing from some events that I won't go into just right before we started the show, I would not be able to handle being famous. It's taken me a long time to come to this conclusion, but I'm certain I'm not cut out for that lifestyle. Like, and I understand now why people that are famous have, an agent and a manager and a social media manager and all that shit, is because you shouldn't, as a human, you're not like biologically wired correctly to handle that type of like.
I think most people aren't.
Yeah, I think everybody isn't. Without
no, I think there's some people that like that can compartmentalize it and actually do. I mean, I could be wrong. I think it's like a rare person.
You have to have the bandwidth, the mental bandwidth, to be able to compartmentalize something into. Like if you're a normal person with a job and a family and hobbies and sleep,
your life is fundamentally different for sure.
Yeah.
Like.
But if you have a staff that takes care of your schedules and
absolutely
your work is to be famous, then it's totally different. And I don't know how anybody gets to that point. I don't know what it takes. Like you have to be semi-sociopathic to begin with. Like, is there some weird veil you have to the rest of the world that these things just don't affect you? Because like I can't even be micro niche internet celebrity famous without feeling like, one of the reasons I'm glad I don't do the Chill Neil show anymore is I couldn't handle the stress of like booking guests and like the response of the very small audience that it had. And I was just kind of like, I'm ready to stop this. This is a great place to stop. I'm going to stop.
Well, what do you mean by the response? What, just people being annoying and acting weird? Or?
Yeah. I mean, it was such a small show. At its very best, we probably had 50 viewers, and I still had people referring to me, as not having like progressive ideals for alt media. And I'm like, this is a Chill Neil YouTube internet show. Like, what do you expect out of me? Like 90% of this was just me and my friends. Like, what do you, I've tried my best to book.
I mean, to be fair, I do
represent.
I do often tell people that the main reason that Bernie did not win, Chill Neil didn't get out there.
Directly Bernie losing.
Oh, absolutely! I have the data, and I show it to people regularly and willingly. But
often, so I think the Succ is at a good level, right where we're at. I'm sorry, Willow, we can't get you the Google Chrome yet. And we probably won't.
Yeah, I'm still on Netscape Navigator over here.
Oh, sorry. What is the?
Willow's just using Microsoft Edge like a fucking barbarian.
Yeah, I somehow got it to actually function. It worked for more than a second. So.
Amazing. No, what was I trying to say? Google Fiber. That's what it was. I want to get that shit. How do you get that shit? Do you have to have a bunch of like tech bros move into your area and start, a branch of Google?
I don't know how much they do that anymore. I haven't checked on it in years at this point. But
like it's not a thing?
I don't know if it is, because I don't remember if it's like they decided it was profitable or not. But there are other companies that are smaller companies that are like branching out and doing putting in fiber networks, which I had no idea about, but it's actually kind of cool.
Yeah, Panera's really on a roll with it. It's crazy. You get the pick 2. You can do cable and phone, or internet and phone. I mean, it's great.
That'll be the day we can walk into Panera Bread.
Chicken Caesar Wi-Fi and pastrami.
Pay an extra for cheese on it.
That's the second episode in a row with the You Pick 2 on it. I think we're being Panera pilled.
I just listened to the episode earlier today, so I'm sure that's why. Shout out to Justine. I think she made the Panera joke.
They're secretly sponsoring us. Yeah.
Great work. That was a great episode, y'all. It sounded great and very funny. Y'all are killing it.
Geniuses.
Thank you.
I should have just taken the week off. I don't know why I'm here. You guys.
I need to
you had
take
it
off
covered.
more often because those are our best episodes.
No.
That's just everyone's philosophy. We don't have any episodes anymore. You're just,
I'm doing you a favor.
Critics have spoken.
I'm gonna try not to laugh too much this episode. I'm just warning y'all because you're very funny, as I just said. But that's where I could break into a coughing fit. I've been very sick this week. I was sick for literally like a week straight. This shit was crazy.
Yeah,
These
man,
kids,
it's
man.
really tearing through the Buck household.
Don't
Immune system's destroyed.
if you don't go into parenthood without expectations of deep illness, like for years to come. 'Cause I did not have that I mean, I guess I knew, but I didn't know. You know, it's like my daughter comes home with a cold or whatever, and she just coughs. Like it's just like a germ machine, just like everywhere in the house, just coughs directly in your face and on every surface and on the baby. And it's just like, there's no way I'm not going to be sick. It's just not possible.
But my friend's kid was over like a week ago, and he was like climbing on top of me, and he just like, as he's climbing, just sneezed directly into my mouth. Like just raw, just totally didn't even try, didn't even blink, nothing. Just resumed climbing. I'm like, so I was like, oh yeah, he's been sick. Like, Jesus fucking Christ.
Yeah, we spend a lot of time trying to teach Goldie to cover her mouth, and she does it sometimes, but it's just like, you can't teach kids this stuff. And it's like, I think back to when Goldie was first born, my sister-in-law came to stay with us to meet her and help out a little bit, and she brought her kids. And I think my nephew was probably like 8 at the time, and he's doing the same thing. He's just coughing and sneezing all over the baby. And I'm like, so it doesn't get better. Like, you think, oh, it's 2-year-olds, they'll never learn, but it's like 8-year-olds don't learn either. We're like, what the hell? We're cursed. We need to go back to the lockdown. That's what I want. Just lock it all back down.
I think we should lock all children down.
Mm-hmm.
There's the episode soundbite right there. Locking down all children. I do miss those days because I didn't get sick for like 2 years when we had to stay home for the pandemic. And now it's probably my immune system is a weak baby shithead immune system, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you gotta go lick some sporks.
Your immune system and other like immune systems now are just like going out and like coughing all over each other.
This is like the Kid Rock in my Osmosis Jones situation.
Wow. He's in your immune system just singing about statutory whatever that was. Not going to the lyric itself. Sorry.
About statutory being mandatory, which, you know, it's kind of what Willow was saying about locking down all children.
Yeah.
That is
not what you're saying at all.
That's what I heard.
Yeah, I mean,
that's what it sounded
children
like.
And mandatory, you know, it was close enough, right?
Just put them all in bubbles.
It's my turn to get.
I don't think we'll ever be canceled. Exactly. I think we've tried really hard, and like we just don't have it in us to be canceled.
I've certainly tried.
I've noticed. I think one of us can. You sure have. I think one of us. I'm just flashing back to. For some reason, I'm flashing back to it. It wasn't even that bad. It was the one where you said it was like the doctor is the obstetrician starts doing all the weird millennial goofy speak. And then at the end just says I have a gun.
Wow.
It was a Matt tweet. It was a particularly classic. Like cancelable Matt.
I missed that one. And you got canceled for it?
No, I didn't. I have not been canceled yet. I've gotten
That's why
some
we haven't
grumblings.
been canceled. It's him. It's Matt.
He's got the
uncancelable.
The crazy COVID built-in immune and the cancel immune.
What if that's like a mutant power, like an X-Man? Like they like Professor X comes and it's like, Matt, you can't be canceled. We need you to say the R word on Fox News.
Oh wow, that is so funny.
We need you.
Just to imagine Professor X recruiting you.
We need you to say slurs now.
on
To me,
Fox
my
News.
X-Men, say your slur. Wait, no, just
Yeah,
Matt.
right.
You say the slur. Everyone else
right.
do that crazy superhero
Magneto's
shit.
like going to destroy the world, and then he's like, I won't do it if you find some white guy to say slurs. And I
I'm
like
just
step
imagining-
out from the back.
What?
It's I guess I can do it. Finally, I'm useful.
I need Ashley to draw a comic book panel of all the X-Men and then just also Matt standing there saying like just all aspects. They're all like, Wolverine's got his claws out.
This is
Storm's
like-
flying.
This is great, but I really wish we had a white guy to recite "Party and Bullshit" by Biggie Smalls
Which I could
word
do
for
the whole
word.
thing word for word.
Yeah.
From memory, anytime. Swear
Wow.
on God, I can do it.
How
I can
many
do like
times
5
have you-
Biggie Small songs, just word for word.
If
Mhm.
I
Biggie
would never
Smalls
would.
brought you on stage, would you,
I could do it.
would you do it with him? What do you think you would stop
Absolutely.
the song and be like, yo, hold up? Or do you think he'd be
Maybe-
cool with it?
Well, my mutant power, you'd be cool with it.
No, I'm saying no, in the real world.
What do you
I
mean?
guess it's not the real world if Biggie Smalls has you on stage either, so I
Yeah,
can't really.
true.
Yeah. Well, what are you gonna do? I tried.
Let's go get kicked out of a Hawaiian karaoke bar because you decided to drop the N-bomb.
Look out! It's Ezra Miller.
Exactly.
Sorry, that's my Patrick Stewart. It's a little rusty.
Oh wow, I didn't know you had a Patrick Stewart. That's great.
I try. Sometimes I just. I think the kids might call it stimming. Actually, I will just sit there. I'll just sit there and say the word "well" in a Patrick Stewart voice over and over again.
That's stimming.
Yeah.
I think it
Everybody's
might count.
stimming is different.
What
Yeah,
is stimming?
exactly.
I'm sorry, I didn't
Mine-
know. Is
It's
it like edging?
something. It's like a self. What is? It's like a self comfort,
Like a self-soothe kind of thing.
Yeah,
Mhm.
self soothing. Thank you.
Mhm.
Stimulate.
But yeah, for right, and for that, I just have to prick up my ears and say, well, over and over again in a Patrick Stewart voice.
Nice.
I actually
okay.
got arrested in Sears
Well.
for stimming.
No, you didn't.
What?
I'm banned from Sears like across the whole U.S. for stimming
Nice.
too much.
Are there any more Sears left at this point? I feel like they're gone the way of Kmart.
Yeah, there's about 6 of them. Can't
Which
go to 'em.
speaks to Matt's uncancelability. Like he is saying,
I canceled Sears after they told me I
Yeah.
couldn't stim in their bathrooms.
Sears banned him, and they all went out of business. And now across the
You
country,
couldn't go in
there's
your,
Sears
Sears.
went
can't
out
go
of
in your
business.
plus size women's section anymore. I stimmed too much there.
So
Anyway,
you
what do we
you
got on
just
the
really
docket
love
for
to
today?
Snap the
I was gonna say, speaking of plus size, apparently a supermassive black hole has been confirmed to live at the center of the Milky Way galaxy. Now, this isn't necessarily news. I'm glad y'all enjoyed that transition. I'm back, baby.
He's back, shepherding us straight into the center of the galaxy.
Exactly. I have 2 bones to pick with this, and they're not really bones, but at least the second one isn't. But the first one is they describe this as a supermassive black hole, but then I read the article and it goes on to say how comparatively this black hole is not actually that large.
It's just
Compared
massive.
to
It's not
other-
super massive, right?
I mean, I don't know how they name these things. If this is supermassive, what are the bigger ones?
No, it is
called?
supermassive.
Okay. Well, then that's my problem with this. That's the bone I'm going to pick, is that the article I read said compared to other black holes, it was not that big. So what are they just all called supermassive at a certain point?
I think
And
they were
just
trying to
keep,
make I think they were trying to like date the black hole, and they felt bad. They were like, "It's not that. No, it's nice. It's tight. It's
No,
a tight
you're-
black hole."
Yeah, your halo it doesn't make you look that supermassive. It's,
Other black holes are way looser.
but I guess the other part of this is that it's always been inferred by like gravity that there's a black hole at the center of the galaxy. This is the first time anyone's ever spotted it, and it just looks like a little shitty little Fruit Loop.
It's
or
not even a
something,
good one.
I mean, I guess it's very difficult to photograph a black hole because they're so large. You know, like
Yeah.
I don't think you
they
actually
can't get them in
can.
4K yet.
Yeah.
some people can relate to this if they've tried to take pictures of their own butthole. It is difficult to get that little.
It's
It is. It is.
Brown
It is.
eye.
It's very difficult, and you have to
squat.
You have to like also somehow look cute while you're doing it. It's not a good time.
Well, I don't try to look cute.
The best way is lay on your back and legs up, and then kind of get that camera way as far out from you as you can. So that way you get other cute elements. If you just do the butthole, it's not.
Yeah, it's not as adorable, right?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
I'll give that a shot.
It's the difference between the peak over the horizon.
See, that's usually what I do. I do instead of what Phil
the
was
principle's the same. I guess I'm comparing it to the way guys taking dick pics, and it's just the very close image of a penis, whereas women actually take class,
but not close
sexy.
enough. It's just the complete wrong distance.
Right,
you don't get the size enhancement of being too close.
You just see some weird thighs,
but you
with
get
hair
the butthole size enhancer.
Why is the flash on?
There's like a glint. You got a red eye in the hole.
Yeah,
just on the get their butthole.
Every little
flash
on the.
I mean, do you think there's filters for butthole pictures that do like the face app, smoothing of the butt cheeks and the thighs,
or wrinkles? It adds wrinkles into the butthole.
Wow,
that could be a revenue stream for the show. I think
nice.
That could be.
Yeah.
Is that a more desirable butthole?
I don't know, but it feels like it would be nice if you could customize it.
Yeah,
Willow, we got to circle back to this app idea. I'm going to let you take the lead on it.
Do some butthole research and find out what's desirable.
Yeah.
Desirable butthole.
Yeah, we'll get the Pantone people on it.
Well, in similar news, I mean, speaking of apps that do filters to your butthole, I guess there's a new one going around this week called New Profile Pic. At least that's what I see. Name. Yeah, it's right on the nose. And I wanted to bring this up because, normally our show likes to report on things that just fly right over our head. We should, be able to spot them from a mile away, that they're not true, but they get us so many times. Well, this one, I wanted to get out ahead of it because I saw somebody posting on other people's pictures saying, delete this app. It's a Russian spyware. They're stealing your data. And I thought, though, that's interesting. Like, if we're going to talk about this, maybe I'll go see if that's true. And I mean, according to Snopes, there is no supporting evidence. So keep, do new profile pics of your face or butthole. Be curious to see how that works with the app. I haven't seen any of those yet. Have any of y'all tried this?
Put my butthole into the app?
I was hoping that it would get sent to Putin, but apparently that's not a thing anymore. But yes, I have used the app on on certain faces.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I think I like the idea of like Putin sitting in his palace and just like scrolling through everybody's pictures, just casually being like, "Oh, nice."
Why do they think that Russia would want that?
He's looking for buttholes.
Oh, okay.
Well, I'm guessing, is it like
he's mapping your face? I think is the idea.
There it is.
It's like, yeah, it's so weird. You think if they wanted it, they couldn't go to your fucking Facebook or any number of things and just scan it and get your ID.
My account is set to friends only. Thank you very much. So Putin's got nothing on me.
Okay,
nothing.
He's no friend.
Mine's wide open. So
unless he looked like more than a couple weeks ago, then he had everything.
Oh, you know what? I've been doing like this training for work, and it's like a small group of people, and I didn't realize because the company that we're working with is using Google, like I don't know what the hell it's called, like the Google web app where you sign in and it's like Zoom, and it linked my account that just has my like I just used my profile picture, my like the fucking painting, and I was like, oh shit. Like, and in the back of my mind, I'm like, what if they see this face? And what if they've been staring at it for like hours now, and then they happen to see a tweet or some shit? I don't know why they would, but then they might see like, oh, what the fuck?
Maybe they're into horse girls.
Maybe they're Norse girls and they see my tweets from 2 years ago.
Yeah, maybe they like. I can't remember her name. Who's that comedian that retweeted you about the horse whistle?
Oh, Whitney Cummings.
Yeah, maybe they're a Whitney Cummings fan.
Yeah,
from 2 years ago.
we should get Whitney Cummings on.
Yeah.
Okay.
Girl boss the shit out of us.
God.
Yeah. Could call the episode Whitney Suckings.
Whitney Cummings, what do you think about the Butthole app?
We can't even get all of our co-hosts on the show anymore, so I don't know if we can get Whitney Cummings.
We're getting
I'll
dwindled
get
down.
Whitney Cummings, all right.
No, I didn't mean to be
And then there were
disparaging.
none.
I like
But
the arrangement. I like the musical chairs. That was honestly to me how I always envisioned it. I never thought everybody would be on the show, but I guess especially at the beginning when you start out, it's like it's exciting, you know. Like, let me get in the hot seat. I got some shit to talk about.
Yeah, we used to have like in the beginning we had like 11 hosts, right?
There
was
I think it was 13.
There was Perry. Perry was okay, you know.
Oh, I miss Perry.
There was Roger.
Perry.
Loved Roger.
Roger. Roger's in Paris now.
It's doing good.
He doesn't talk to us anymore, but he looks like he's doing well.
We had another Kimberly, and the Kimberly's had it out for a while, and you know.
I think they
R.I.P.
There can only be one, and they're still fighting.
Wow, I didn't know that. Yeah. Maybe we should edit that part out. No incriminating evidence, unless it's behind the paywall. We haven't done that in a while.
Yeah, where Putin can't get it.
Exactly.
Unless he pays $5.
How many rubles would that be?
He's like, with these sanctions, I can't fucking.
Yeah. I bet Patreon doesn't accept Russian payments, you know?
I do, though.
What if we're the only? What if we're the
anybody's
only? You know, we make an exception, right? We get around that for Patreon, right? And we're the only thing accepting Russian money, and that's how we finally blow up.
Yeah, pay us in rubles.
Massive.
We only accept rubles.
This is officially a money laundering operation. We just do the podcast to justify the massive amount of rubles coming into our Patreon on a weekly basis and going right back out to unnamed accounts. Well,
incredible.
I was looking for a transition there. I don't think I see one. So I'll take a lead from y'all. Last week you did a great job of saying I'm not going to pretend to have a transition. I'm going to try to do that more often. Somebody hit me to this guy Tim Pool. Have you heard of Tim Pool?
Yes.
Okay, great. I'm glad you do because I had to do some research here. But
okay.
First I got to say I love how apparently his show is called Timcast IRL. Like what the fuck kind of name? This is the least imaginative name. Like this would just be like instead of the Suck, it would be called Philcast URL or something. Like,
which is kind of cool. Cooler than Timcast.
Okay. Well, we'll have to work on that. We'll get a new branding effort together. But Tim Pool believes he is unable to get laid, or rather, he says the woke agenda is preventing me from having sex.
I think that there's a couple other reasons.
Great.
But
you can look at him, you know? That's a thing.
Yeah. Or listen to his podcast or
hearing him talk about literally anything.
Being as just get a sense of his general aura, you know, by being within 50 feet of him, I think is enough.
Yeah, really.
If he could say the N-word, more women would be attracted to him. Is what he.
Which is many such cases.
Exactly.
I mean,
a powerful weapon.
Right. That's what I was gonna say. Is that the problem I have with this this theory that he has? That there's plenty of terrible women out there like him. I mean, if he wants to date women, then I'm sure there's candidates out there. I've witnessed plenty of people on this earth that would probably still be into the shithead personality that he exhibits, at least, you know, for his, podcast or whatever. I don't understand. Where is he going? You know, why is he hanging out with so many quote unquote woke people? Like, you're in the wrong bar, bro. Like,
unfortunately, he's got a thing for, trans Big titty trans goth girls.
Well, that's
I
understandable.
think
I mean,
that's my theory, and that's like the exact opposite. And he's just cursed, you know.
that's fascinating.
Tim Pool is like one of my least favorite like guys like that. You know, like I don't know what you call him. He's like not a talking head,
Yell
but I guess like
radio.
a media guy. You know,
Yeah.
like independent media guy. He calls himself a journalist, but it's like laughable. You know.
Mhm.
Because it's like he's such a like some of them like they know what they're doing. Tim is like genuinely a very stupid guy, and I hate
and
to say
deeply
that.
Uncharacteristic, deeply unccharismatic too.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, and just like when you listen to him, and he radiates stupidity,
Yeah.
and he's like annoying and stupid. So it's like a what's his name? Ben Shapiro is annoying, but he's not technically stupid. He's not like an imbecile, you know. Tim is like literally like a mouth breathing like dead-eyed moron that has no idea what he's talking about. He's just like he's like making connections between between like things he doesn't like. He's like that kind of dumb conservative guy where he's just like I want to be able to say whatever I want. It's fine, you know, like it's okay. And I also yeah, it's just like terrible. I mean, he doesn't even like I don't know, he doesn't try at all. And he gets on these shows like Fox News by saying he's like not left or not right. But you know that every time that means that he's on the right, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, absolutely.
Love that guy. Whenever I see people like he's like you can instantly like he's one of those guys where like if you see somebody citing him, you can categorically dismiss everything they've said because
Absolutely.
it's like yeah, that's the kind of person like this is where you're getting your info from. Like even if Tim is like citing something that is correct, this is the guy that you're watching to get that bit of information. You're not right, you know? Like your radar is off for like information getting.
Yeah, absolutely. It's kind of like, you know, it's like a 200% worse version of the well, I don't know, just Jordan Peterson has some good points, you know, kind of guy. Like
yeah.
Because that's almost like you start to think, oh, maybe I'm crazy, you know, but like with Tim Pool, it's you know what's up.
Yeah, exactly. It's like yeah, exactly. Like even like yeah, if someone cites Ben Shapiro, they you know obviously that's going to be like okay, I got to really take whatever they're saying.
They've got a
they're
thing
probably
for
a
bad.
moron. Yeah, but they might not necessarily be like a total moron. They just might be like absorbing some cursory thing that he's like put out there. But like if you're anybody, even like people who are self-professed conservatives are like looking at Tim Pool and like being like, this is the guy right here. This guy, he has really good opinions on Israel. I can tell. And I'm going to regurgitate them. Great guy.
Well, I mean, would we technically call this man an incel because he, I mean, he's expressing the fact that he can't have sex because of the world's culture, the climate of society against him. Which I just asked because Matt enlightened us with this article from The Atlantic called "What Do Female Incels Really Want?" And I thought this was actually a pretty interesting article because, I mean, I didn't really know the term femcel all that well, other than obviously you can take any words and combine them together. So a femcel would be
plenty of.
Yes. So, I mean, that just means a female incel. Am I correct? So is that what that?
Correct. Yeah.
And I feel like a female incel is like, at first I thought, why do we need to make another word? Like, wouldn't they just both be incels? But no, they're actually quite different. I found
they are. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did anybody else read this article? I actually took the time to read it when Matt posted it, but
yeah, most of it. Yeah, and I mean, it posits that there's a real like substantial difference between the way femcels see the world versus the way incels view the world, which is like incels view it as more of like a everything that they say and do is sort of retaliatory against women, whereas femcels, like, it's directed more inwardly, right? That was
yeah, I kind of picked up on that, which I thought was fascinating, that a lot of the like anger of a femcel would not be from society preventing them from finding love or sexual relationships, but more so like everybody in society just lying to them. Because I guess one of the big things about this is that basically almost all femcels consider themselves ugly, and so like they don't like people trying to tell them, oh, but you know, you don't have to do this or that to be perceived by society. And they're like, no, fuck you. Like they feel like they do actually have to do that, and they feel like people are holding them back if they try to, you know,
aren't there different types of femcels too? Because from what I understand, some of them choose not to fuck dudes like on purpose, and they've just like decided to just not mess with men because they're evil and shitty.
Vol cells, but they have a very different vibe between the incel. Like, sorry. So I've done a deep dive on both these. I find them really fascinating. You know, like the incel community, like a few years ago before it became like a huge thing, but that people like knew about. I remember just like stumbling upon this and kind of doing a deep dive in their communities and stuff.
Matt's an incel hipster.
Incel hipster, yes. Before it was cool to be an incel, you know, because it's so fucking cool. No, but the femcels. Once I found femcels, like I was like, well, what the hell? That doesn't make any sense. Like, how could a woman be an incel? Really? Like, you know, in my infinite knowledge, but it's actually very easy to do. But the main difference between the incel, like a femcel and an incel, you know, is that the femcels can and have had sex by virtue of just being able to do that because they're a woman, right? Mm-hmm. But many of the incels may have had only one or two, if any, sexual partners at all, or experiences at all, if that. Many of them are virgins, right? But but women are these femcels will be. They're kind of like they've had only negative or extremely bad sexual encounters their whole time. And if they maybe had a good one where the experience itself was good, they felt used and manipulated afterward because they thought that they were too ugly or they were too low value, which is similar to the incel, you know, the male equivalent of it, where they think they're basically game theorying their own existence within a relationship hierarchy that might exist to some degree in the world, but as any normal person with normal relationships knows, it doesn't exactly work that way. And so the femcels are like, it's a little bit more relatable. It's a little bit more sympathetic. I am, at least, to femcels because, you know, they have to endure the stuff that women have to endure, and you know, they are very hateful because that's just kind of like the root of that's what binds the community together. For both of them is like self-pity and self-loathing and commiseration with the community. And in both of them, right, in both the communities, they both don't want you to leave the community. They want you to be miserable with them. And that's like the biggest thing is that because they get the sick sense of community that makes them, that's like cathartic to them and makes them feel like they belong and like they feel understood. But everyone else is also dragging them down. It's like just, you know, like getting a bunch of mentally ill people together and just like they just are clawing at each other, like dragging each other down because they don't want the other people to leave and get better because that was
like Scientology, basically.
Basically, yeah.
You get clear by posting terrible stuff online, and that's your, you know, how you. I want to make a Thetan reference here, but I couldn't make it that far. But I did pretty good with the getting clear. That was good.
I feel like a lot of communities are kind of based around that, though, the insecurity and kind of like mental illness of just the misery of it all, and just pulling back.
Yeah, absolutely, for sure. Yeah. But there is like incel communities and femcel communities are like they have a very specific. They've worked out ideologically what it is that brings them together in a very like. I mean, a literal ideological way, which is
I'm very interested in the femcel thing because I'm almost there. I'm pretty close. So like I understand. So I know a little bit about incel culture where it's just like it's just like this kind of like female hatred, and they don't want any of the members of the community to have meaningful, deep sexual or romantic relationships. Is it a similar thing with femcels?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Yeah, the femcels, like they don't want they believe that like they don't deserve love or a relationship, or if they think that they deserve it, they think it's in spite of all the stuff that in their game theory of relationships, it's in spite of all that, all the stuff that makes them not unlovable and unappreciable. You know, being, they always think they're ugly. They think they're hideous. You know, I actually tried talking to them and was like, hey, you know, I'm a man. You know, I'm just curious about like your thing. And oh my God, they like an overwhelming level of hatred and viciousness was directed towards me, which is totally fine. I kind of asked for it by just being a man, being like, hey, I'm reading all your shit. You guys are nuts. I didn't say you're nuts. I was like, hey, I'm just like curious, you know, would like to know more.
I really want like a what is it? Like I can't remember the network. I was going to say Hallmark movie, but there's another like totally female demographic based channel that would do, you know, terrible dramatizations like Snapped. And it's all about women that like killed their husbands or boy. I would love to see one of those versions of Matt's going to the femcel community and then just dramatize the point that they killed him, but like based it in reality at the beginning, and then just kind of
going to a femcel meetup.
Yeah. Tonight on Snapped.
Yeah, I like that. Hey guys, I brought condom. What's going on? Just getting shot in the head.
Yeah, I like that you did your own like little deep dive Vice documentary on incels.
I was curious. I'm very interested in that kind of ideological shit. It's weird to me.
Yeah, and you were very high on copious amounts of PCP at the time. That was part of the piece.
Another thing that was interesting about the article, Phil, I don't know if you picked up on this too. It mentioned that a lot of it's a big reaction by this subset of women to liberal feminism and like the boss bitch millennial
rejection
feminism.
Of girl bosses.
Yeah, girl boss, right. Like they were like being told, and obviously, yeah, like there's been a huge backlash to that, like stuff that was like popular 10 years ago, where it was just like insufferable then, but it was kind of like the wave, and then you know that kind of like liberal get out there and vote feminism that was like super irritating. But for them, it's been like everybody's beautiful. Like you're beautiful. If any man is putting you down, then you know, fuck him. You're beautiful and cool, and everybody, and you know, it's his loss. And this hasn't been their experience at all. You know, they don't experience that they're beautiful.
The anger there is relatable because it's two different lived experiences completely. You know, like
they don't feel like a boss bitch. You know.
Yeah, it's like. Right, exactly. It's like you are, you know, in a horrifying, you know, accident and you don't have any medical insurance, and you know somebody's like, "Oh, no, don't worry. Like this happened to me too." And you know, I have fucking, you know, the platinum.
You live in Europe.
Canada. Yeah. Don't worry. Doctors are actually paid to do a good job here where I'm from, and that's probably the way it is there too, because you know you're a human and you live on the planet, right? And
can we start a new incel, which is what is the word? It's involuntary underinsured.
Involuntary uninsured.
I'm an uncel. Uncel. Yeah. Just start forums where we just express our rage at countries with socialized medicine. Like they just want to tell us that, you know, diabetes is you can handle it, you know, like it's not a problem. Just go to your doctor, get insulin. Well, they don't understand.
These fucking chads are probably not, but
yeah.
It's so funny. I mean, I think a much earlier point in this conversation, Matt was just talking about the ideologies of, you know, these groups like incels and femcels and so many others. Like I'm going to touch on another one here as a transition, but I want to get this thought out and see what you guys think about it. Cause I don't know where it came from, but I was just driving down the road and I was thinking about the QAnon thing and how it's totally gone right now. Right. And I was just thinking like, you know, people get roped into these kind of things, these ideologies, because maybe this is slightly different than the incel femcel thing, but it's like, especially with the QAnon thing, in my mind, I was just living out this alternate reality where it was all true and like how good that community would have felt. And that's like the feeling they were just holding on to in their mind, because like you have to know, like, I'm sure even at the most, diluted points, the people that were believing this had to know how outrageous it was. And I was just thinking like intoxicating a feeling that must be to believe like, well, I'm gonna be right, and then that's gonna make it all worth it, to be able to say, look, fucking JFK Jr. is back, I was right.
Wait, so that guy, the guy that was like famous for the January 6th bullshit, where he was like wearing a giant Q on his shirt, he was like all over the place, he was like, they got a bunch of pictures of him, so they interviewed, like he got arrested and shit, and he got interviewed by the FBI, and he actually turned himself in after his wife was like, you got to turn yourself in. You're like, you probably did something illegal. You're all over the news and stuff. So he just goes to the local police, and the local police were like, we'll call the FBI, but you didn't do anything technically illegal as far as we can tell. So he goes to the FBI, and he's like being interviewed by them, and he keeps doing this. And this is like such a good microcosm of like the QAnon people's like mindset, right? Is that he's talking to the FBI. The FBI. There isn't anybody besides like the CIA, maybe, that's more like the man, the guy that you're like, right. The very organizations that you're supposed to be like terrified of and think are like pulling all the strings and all this shit. And he's just like, yeah, so Biden's he was on that Epstein Island, right? I think I read that, right? You guys know. He's like asking them, like, the FBI is gonna like be like, yeah, oh yeah, we know about the Biden.
You got us. You were right.
Island, and we're gonna, we're gonna arrest him any minute. It's like
the law. If you ask us if something's true, we can't lie to you. Yeah. It's like a entrapment sort of a thing.
You just have to ask three times. That's what it is.
Yeah,
The first two times they can lie. The third time, yeah, he was there. Biden.
Yeah, it's like if you ask
the third time, they're gonna tell you about Beetlejuice for sure.
It's like if you ask a cop, if they're a cop, they have to tell you. If the FBI, if you ask about the pedophile island, they have to tell you legally.
Yeah.
Like a vampire.
Well, this might ruffle some feathers. Sorry. I mean, I always feel a little justified in having these conversations because we have a member of the community with us here. Matt has definitely done his deep dives into the world of crypto as well. So maybe that lends a little credence to us when I say this. But I know right now that the crypto market is just like shitting the bed. And it's debatable whether maybe it's not fair for me to compare that crypto community to QAnon or something like that.
It's definitely not unrelated.
Yeah, I mean, it's a buying into an ideology that really, I mean, to me, I feel like crypto will become successful if enough people believe in it and adopt it, and if they don't, then I think you see what's happening right now is a lot of people are disenfranchised. And maybe Matt, you can tell us more about what's happening right now, because technically I don't know more than I see the lines going down on a lot of stuff.
Lines are certainly going the fuck down, definitely. There's been significant market crashes across the globe and mostly the US. But the main thing, I mean, a bunch of stuff went down in the crypto market because basically with the Feds hiking the rates, there's less like money for people to be throwing at like speculative assets, and the most speculative assets you can have are cryptocurrency and stocks, right? I mean,
so I guess is a lot of this like people that have a significant investment seeing their time to pull those while there's fluidity. I've read some stuff about that where
some of them for sure. Yeah, they see that that people are not going to be able to dump money into because people are not going to have as much spare funny money because the money printers aren't going to be printing as much. And so they're just, so I guess the people, the upper echelon that got in early were just like, fuck it, I'll pull out now while I can. And then once anytime that happens, you see just a huge, because then everyone else starts doing it because they don't want to be the last person out.
And this is where you buy. This is when we buy, right? And hold.
This is exactly when you buy. So basically, I'm telling you to buy, empty your life savings.
Now is the time, everyone. Trust me, it's coming back. It's coming back.
Well, the thing is, like, the main big thing that happened that was like, besides just a general downtrend, which can just happen and has happened dozens of times, and then it spikes back up and it goes down. But there was a specific coin called UST. It's called Tether. Maybe you've heard of it, but it's a very popular. I think it's like the second most popular stable coin. They're called, and basically they peg one tether to $1, and then the company guarantees that at any time you want to cash out, you can just simply cash out, and convert it to $1. One tether is worth $1, and they have exactly the amount of money they need to always cash it out. Well, turns out that wasn't true.
Oh, no.
But the weird thing about this, though, was that I've been following it for like over a year now. I think there's been like people being like, it just doesn't make sense. Like, how can they guarantee they would have to have like $1 trillion on hand, which is just like liquidity wise, like I don't think that's even possible. And then they were like, people were asking like, okay, well, can you show us? Can you give us proof that you have this? This cash reserve. There's some other stuff to it, but this is the main crux of it. And they just kept not being able to do that, or they would like half-ass it or like quarter-ass it and be like. So I'd be like, anybody that's like using this to just hold their money this is like terrifying. It seems like not a good idea to hold this, right? And people kept saying like, don't. It's not a great idea to be, in this pegged money. But yeah, there was also another, and this is like happening a lot because 99% of all cryptocurrencies are complete scams. And
wait, you mean diarrhea coin wasn't? No.
Diarrhea coin was. I want to say it was a scam.
Explains a lot.
But yeah, another one. What's it called? Luna. That totally just went belly up. I mean, just. I think it was like something like $1 billion, just poof.
Well, what does that mean? Like, tell me. I don't understand. So, is the entire cryptocurrency is no longer? It's just it doesn't exist.
Well, no, it exists. It's just that everybody. So much of it was sold that it's
worth nothing.
Lost like 98%.
There's no market anymore.
So if you hadn't sold, then you own pennies to
exactly. So imagine if you like lost 96% of your investment in something. I mean, it's like
yikes.
Yeah, okay, you might have some left over, but that's like
so I should go buy Luna is what you're saying.
You could do that. Well, okay, so what was funny was that there was the typical dead cat bounce. You ever heard of this before? So
no.
So this is all right, so this is like in common because basically stocks are kind of like mass psychology. And what happens often with these big, when there's a huge crash, it hits a certain point, bounces, spikes back up. And then for whatever reason, I guess people are like, oh, it's going down like really heavy. Like if I buy now, like it's so far down. And they buy it and it spikes back up. And some people will be like, oh, okay, it was a false alarm. And then they buy back in and then it just continues to go the fuck down, losing even more and more. And this happened to that one. And they were just like, I just saw the chart and there's people that were just be like, I bought in. And then you're like, oh, I hope you sold like within, 16 minutes of buying because it just went right back down again.
So what you're saying is buy after the dead cat bounce. That's where you really get your...
Yeah, you definitely want to buy into an asset that lost 98% of its value.
Because when it bounces back up, you've got the best
It's going to come back, baby. To the moon.
Well, is that what people are still saying at this point? Are there people that are like, Luna is still viable? I don't know anything about Luna, but I'm just saying as an example.
Sure, yeah, of course there are. There are people that are trying to get.
So there are people buying right now, saying this is the point. This is such a shitty value that I should definitely buy it and hodl it.
For sure. I mean, for some of it's like some of it makes more sense than others. Like, I mean, if you're Bitcoin, Ethereum, at least those are like used for shit. So it's like I could see someone being like, all right, well,
buying
it's lower now.
NFTs.
I'll just hold it, and like NFTs, they've lost most of their value.
So, and on a related note, are NFTs also shitting the bed right now? Or, I mean,
absolutely, insanely, crazy how bad they are. But the interesting part about NFTs too is that they'll whip out like crazy statistics, like the traffic has increased by 70% for buying NFTs.
what does that
Dude,
even mean?
anybody can make as many wallets as they want and trade back and forth with their own money between two accounts.
Mhm.
It's like auctioning a painting to yourself and then going like, see, it's worth $600,000. It's in, like someone paid. It's you paid that. Someone paid $600,000, and then someone goes like, well, if it's worth that. I'll give you $700,000, and you go, okay. And then you just don't, and that's it. You just made $700,000.
Nice. Wow.
So that's most of something like I don't know, like a tremendous amount of the transactions are just between the same person or a group of people trading back and forth, so they can drive the price up to get another sucker to purchase it.
Incredible.
It's a beautiful world we live in.
Well, I mean, not to pivot into even darker subject, but apparently, I guess there's a formula shortage in the United States. Is it just? Oh wait, it's not just in the U.S. I'm reading a different part of this, but yeah, like baby formula is like there's a shortage, and then there was a recall, and now they're just like you can't get baby formula. I'm sure some people are asking like, well, why are you talking about this on the Succ? And it's because, well, where do you think baby's food come from? They got to suck some titties or, a bottle. And I'm bringing it up because I don't think it's a subject that probably is like a high interest to our community most of the time. But like I have a 4-year-old son and we stopped breastfeeding fairly early on. I say we, but I'm just saying.
You said he's 4 months old.
Or did I say 4 years? Wow.
Before said 4 years. Sorry. He's still breastfeeding at 4 years old. So
hey, that's not unheard of. But he's 4 months old. Thank you. Yeah. I came into the show thinking I'm like I'm feeling pretty good tonight. I think I'm ready. But clearly, the passage of time has defeated me. Anyway, I get it. There's so many reasons that people turn to formula. We have this whole thing in the U.S. about breastfeeding. It had this huge bounce back culturally speaking for mothers and parents, and it's just like this big gung-ho thing about breastfeeding is so good. And there's so many reasons that are legitimate to not breastfeed, and they range from you could have a mother that has cancer undergoing chemotherapy, can't breastfeed, or it just comes down to simple logistics and mental health, which is in our family, that was kind of why we made the decision, was just because it's very tasking for a person to be the sole source of food. Yeah. Whether or not you're actually doing the feeding every time or not, you still have to keep up this rhythm of pumping breast milk. And props to the people that do it literally for years, man. I mean, I wasn't joking. There's people out there that will breastfeed for 4 years. I've heard of that. 5 years. I've heard. I mean, and it's free, quote unquote, free food. I mean, that's great, but like, what are people going to do in the situations where they're no longer breastfeeding? Now there's this formula shortage. Like, seriously, I haven't even thought that far. I don't understand.
Well, I was reading through some of the thread in that on Twitter, and there's a bunch of people like moms and stuff making points that I'd never even thought of before. Like, some babies are like they have some mineral deficiency, or they have something wrong with them that they need a very specific formula. Like they literally can't breastfeed if they wanted to. Like they have to get this special formula that the doctor prescribes and says, okay, you have to use this, you have to mix it with this, and some of these formulas are hard to get. Like they might even in good times they aren't regularly carried. You have to go to some special place and they're just gone. Right. They don't have them. I don't know. It breaks my heart. I can't imagine not being able to fucking feed my kid. Like what the fuck do you even do if there's just no formula, no special formula?
This is what you
just
do.
Get sick and die. Like what do you want?
You take the Doritos, right? It has all that dust.
It's like giving a Mountain Dew.
Like over. You just get all that dust, mix it up, stir it up real good with some whole milk. That baby will be like the most American healthy baby you've ever seen.
I'm living proof. I was. Yeah, I was a Doritos dust baby.
Turned out great.
Here I am.
Cool Ranch or nacho cheese?
You know, I keep some secrets.
Oh.
This isn't one of them. No, nacho cheese.
That which makes more sense, you know, if you're gonna make a bottle of formula, nacho cheese at least is at one point probably was made of dairy
some
products.
kind of dairy product.
Or Velveeta oil thing. I
Yeah,
don't know.
oil.
Yeah.
Well, shout outs to all the parents out there that are gonna be mixing up Dorito dust for their children. Sorry about that if you do that one, because that's not a good idea. Please don't do that.
Yeah,
but if you
don't
do,
actually do that.
let us know which team your baby is on, Cool Ranch or Nacho Cheese team. I would love to know.
Please, I'll give you 5 monkey pictures for 1 can of formula. Just 1. 5 monkey pictures.
Just imagine going to like Walmart and being like, I have so many monkey pictures. Just please, do you have something in the back?
They're so bored and sleepy, please.
The tire
just-
is on apes.
This one looks like Eminem.
This is worth at least 2 canisters of nourishment for my child, please.
Jesus Christ.
It's so sad that it's not hard to imagine a reality where someone is in that position that needs formula and only has NFTs. There's
Yeah,
no
I mean, you
transaction.
get secondary markets, and you know things. I could see having an NFT someday. You know, somebody gets it for you as a gift.
Yeah, I'm gonna get you all NFTs. Now the prices are nice and low.
Maybe we need to start like a baby formula NFT series, because since baby formula is so in demand right now and NFTs are, you know, pretty
That's such
out.
a
We could
fucked up joke. I love it.
I'm not
But
really
I mean,
not-
people often create series of NFTs, you know, that are in the worst possible taste. There were the George Floyd NFTs, right?
What?
Yes.
That existed.
Yes,
that
they
happened.
were.
Yeah.
Yep.
Are you
Did I
shitting
imagine
me?
it?
no,
I believe that happened.
I'm certain that happened. I remember that.
Oh my
Yeah, there
God.
have been.
There's
there
the
have
Trump
been
ones with the
many-
Trump hats on.
Yeah.
Yeah, we talked about that one with
The
Mr.
Patriot
Kevin
ones or whatever.
Sorbo or whatever. I'm just
There have
imagining
been-
like Infamel trying to do like, you know, damage control or something, and all they have left is the marketing department is like, yeah, so announcing the Infamel NFT series, you can buy one of the rarest variants of our formula NFT, which is an actual, you know, bin of formula. God damn it.
God
So
help me.
terrible.
Does not
Yeah.
entitle you to any actual formula.
No, like
Right.
the rarest NFT does though. There's like
Oh,
one
okay,
out of 1,000.
okay.
That's why people have to buy the NFTs. Is because the one
You don't know
person-
until you get it, though. And then
Yeah,
your baby
exactly.
Your baby
Yeah.
can live then.
yeah,
You can feed your
spending
child.
all of your. This is so dark. I'm sorry.
Oh no.
I'm not usually one for the darkest jokes, but it was pretty good.
I do like that the in the tweet that I cited that I saw this bullshit in was that the Jen Psaki or whatever the fellow name is, when asked about like the health question, like asked like, hey, you know, what do you tell like a family that like can't find any formula for their children? Like, what if they've tried everywhere and they can't get any formula? And she was just like, yeah, just like if you have any health concerns, just talk to your doctor, or your pediatrician.
Fuck you.
It's like what we don't even the family might not even have one of those because we don't do that here. That's not something that we do. It's not like you could be like, hey, yeah, you know, talk to your state issued, you know, insurance and talk to a doctor. Nope. It's just, you know, find a doctor and, you know, they'll tell you where to get the formula. I'm sure they have, you know, connections.
Yeah, sure. Connections that the federal government doesn't know about.
Yeah.
Fuck off.
So
Once
fucking
again,
horrible.
We got to start the incels community. I mean, there's clearly plenty of
Yeah.
interests
It's just
at
making
this
me
time.
an incel, man.
I don't know. I mean, it's like, this is like telling somebody whose child is starving, like a 10-year-old child that doesn't have any food. Yeah, just if you have any concerns, take them to your doctor. Like, what's he going to say? Feed him, you know, like what the fuck? Like, does he have a ham sandwich at the pediatrician's office?
Well, this is a great because it's like the market will provide, you know, that's like been the mantra, and it just isn't.
Yeah.
It just isn't. like doing
Well,
that.
yeah,
it's a great point.
Well,
We'll
when
see.
you
Not true.
yeah, and you build an entire government on top of that foundation, and
Mhm.
you know,
They can't
It's
even
working
like do
great.
the most rudimentary things for our fucking citizens, like feed our babies. Jesus.
Well, Lee and I were talking about this before the show, and she was like kind of jokingly like saying, you know, like why couldn't any company like you know, pivot like they did with the mask and stuff at the
Fast,
beginning of the
yeah,
pandemic, you know, like why couldn't somebody just say like, hey, let's
Ventilators
take
and all
our factory and make formula instead.
Yeah,
I mean, I
like
think
Pringles could just make its own formula.
Doritos. I mean, come on.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. Supportive
Well, there
of
you
that.
go. We solved the formula shortage right here on the Suck. We did it.
At Doritos on Twitter.com.
I'll be
Doritos should
tweeting
step up.
what is it, Frito-Lays company. I'll be
Frito-Lay.
tweeting at them nonstop until they solve the formula.
Make baby formula, Doritos flavored now.
I think what we need is Enfamil flavor powder for our other, you know.
Putting that, dusting it on Doritos and giving it to baby.
Yeah, we need an Enfamil Doritos Taco Bell taco.
Nice. Just
To solve
imagining
our
the most insensitive person ever actually doing this, like within
boy.
the time of the formula shortage for
Yeah,
YouTube
like the
Cloud or something.
fucking like performance art ass face mask outfits that people were wearing in the first fucking like 3 weeks of the pandemic.
Oh God, yeah, bikinis
Fucking
and
grim.
yeah, thongs and all
Yeah.
that. Wow.
It's funny.
All right, everybody. Well, this has been the 39th episode of The Suck. Glad to be back with you. I think we had some high notes, some low notes, everything you could ask for in an episode of the show called The Suck. Make sure you join our Facebook group, The Suck Shame Posting. And as we often like to joke about, we do have a Patreon where you can donate $5. Or actually, you can just donate. I guess you can donate
whatever the fuck
$1.
you want.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah.
If you donate $1, we'll give you access to our very cool Discord. It's like nothing else on the internet.
Truly.
And you'll have to just, donate to find out if I'm telling you the truth or not.
We also
But-
accept Ruples. Not NFTs anymore. Not Luna.
Not
Ruples
Luna, no.
or American dollars. Thank you.
Our diarrhea.
We'll,
coin.
we'll see you. We'll see you in the chat, Vlad.
He's talking to me now.
Putin's on our Discord.
Hey.
All right. Good night, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.